Good morning guys, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please do press that like button. Please do subscribe. Right, good morning. I'm here in my flat at Rochester and I've just got up about 8 o'clock this morning. That's the normal time for me at the moment, 8 o'clock. What can I say? Last night I took Max out for a walk. It was fairly busy. There was lots of people on the field, and I told you in the previous video last night. I came back home and I chilled out like people do when they live by themselves. I put a YouTube video on. It was an old film with Veronica Hamill in it, and she had curly permed hair, and she was victim of a rape, and she took the rapist to court, and she didn't lose the case. It was a hung jury. So the rapist decided to do a civil court case against her, and he lost because she had a very strong case against him, and the jury went in her favour that time. So it was a very interesting film. I enjoyed watching it. It was an older film, so I remember Veronica Hamill. And I noticed the comments underneath the video. One of them wasn't interested in what had happened in the film. They were interested in Veronica Hamill's hair. It was a very good film, and if you watched it from beginning to end, I don't go by people's appearances. So someone's put underneath the comments, what's happened to Veronica Hamill's hair? What's her hair got to do with the role that she's playing in that film about being raped? See, I don't understand some people making comments about people's appearances. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. It doesn't mean that I agree with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a really good film, and then someone's commented on Veronica Hamill's perm. You've got to remember that film was an old film, and people used to have perm hair in the 70s and 80s. It was in style back then, a perm. Right, so I watched that film, and there was really loud music emanating from somewhere up until gone 11 last night. Here in Rochester, at gone 11 last night, there was some quite loud music going on, and it was really loud. I think there was a concert or something at Rochester Castle, because in this heat people have got to keep the windows open, and kids have got to go to school the next morning, and all I could hear way past 11 was a load of loud banging music, and I had to shut my window at 11 o'clock. Thank goodness when I shut the window I couldn't really hear it very much, but you have to shutting the windows in the heat at night because of loud concert music. It sounded like it must have been coming from Rochester Castle. I just got on with the rest of my evening. I went to bed a bit later because that music was rocketing down the street and through the windows. I wasn't angry last night, I wasn't upset, and then I noticed this vehicle because I couldn't get to sleep till about 1 or 2 in the morning, and when I'd watched I watched a film and then I watched a catfish scammer video, and I went to bed later than normal, and then I had noticed this strange builder's vehicle parked at the corner of Ines Apartments last night. I thought it's very odd for builders to leave a vehicle out in a main living area overnight. It's gone now, it's on the corner of Ines Apartments. I tell you, I've been through a lot in my life, guys. I've been through a lot, and so have other people been through a lot in their lives, and they don't go around wrecking things and screaming and shouting and being stupid. This is why I'm trying to do videos showing you my complete normal self, and that I'd been triggered, annoyed and deprived of things for someone to take amusement out of me. So there was a vehicle outside all night, a builder's vehicle with a driving seat on top, and it's gone now. But there was loud music way past 11. I'd had a shitty day. Let's face it, I'd been woken up at 7:20 yesterday morning. I'd had people taking the mickey out of what I looked like, and then at night there's loud banging music till way past 11. And I wasn't cross and I wasn't angry. I watched the rape video, I watched a catfish video, and I went to bed. The catfish video was about an older man who'd met what he thought was a Ukrainian beautiful woman online. He thought she was a 30-year-old Ukrainian, single, and that she'd fallen in love with this older man. And he'd sent her over 4 years, $30,000. He'd send her boxes of gifts, and he thought she loved him. And he was getting messages like I was, you know, hello beautiful, you're my king, I'm your queen, I love you. She was getting all that, and he couldn't face the fact that she was a scam. It was a scam. She wasn't the scam artist. Someone again had stolen all her photographs off a site, a media site, and I don't know, I didn't see the conclusion, but someone was pretending to be a 30-year-old blonde, beautiful, buxom Ukrainian to scam money out of this poor, lonely older man. And he'd actually lost his home. He'd lost his home and a lot of his belongings, because he thought this was a genuine woman that loved him. And he ended up living with his ex-wife because he lost the place that he was living in, because he was sending money to what he thought was a beautiful Ukrainian girlfriend, and it was a scam. 9 times out of 10 it's a bloke pretending to be a woman, and a woman pretending to be a man, and he's now got 4 years, and he said he wanted to find out if she was real or not, and she wasn't real at all. So he was living in fantasy lands, and so he said he's now got to go and get some therapy and learn to live by himself, like I'm doing. Scam artist. Keeping him hanging on. I love you, I'm going to move over to America with you. I just need a bit more money, just need money. And then he just ended up losing his home and his whole life really, so they helped him sort himself out. And now he's living his life by himself. That's the way the world is today, just people trying to make money. Anyway, I watched that. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. I've been hanging out with my new best friend from Pop Legends WAM. To see what happened, ask me, have you met Andrew Ridgeley?
Alexa, have you met Andrew Ridgeley?
Here's what happened when I met Andrew Ridgeley.
Something's bugging me. Something ain't right.
I know, someone told me what you did last night.
You left me sleeping in my bed. I was dreaming, but I should have been awake instead.
You forgot to ask me to wake you up before you went.
Oh, well, how about you take me dancing tonight?
Okay, just ask me to play WAM on Amazon Music. Would you like to hear more from me and Andrew?
No. We can't hear from
Okay,
George Michael,
that's
can
all
we?
from Andrew and me. Hope we took you to the edge of heaven.
Like I said, we can't hear from George Michael, another person that died alone, on his own, even though he was with somebody. He died by himself at Christmas, didn't he, George Michael, in 2016. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 8:41 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Friday the 7th of July.
Alexa, what's the weather like? Alexa, the weather.
In Rochester, it's 17 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect mostly sunny weather, with a high of 28 degrees and a low of 17 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
I have lots of intellectual property jokes, but I can't tell you any, because they're all under copyright.
Finally, Alexa, whose birthday is it today?
Today's famous birthdays include British musician, drummer for the Beatles Ringo Starr, Indian cricket player Mahendra Singh Dhoni, American actress Shelley Duvall, American film producer Akiva Goldsman, and British comedian, television presenter and actor Jack Whitehall.
Right, so guys, I watched Wimbledon last night. I was watching Andy Murray versus Tsitsipas or something. Tsitsipas? The Greek god, apparently. So Andrew Murray against the Greek god, and I didn't see the conclusion. Alexa, who won Andy Murray's match at Wimbledon?
This past Tuesday, Andy Murray defeated Ryan Peniston in straight sets in the first round of Wimbledon.
Alexa, who won yesterday's tennis?
Yesterday, Jamie Murray and Michael Venus defeated Albano Olivetti and David Vega Hernandez 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 in the first round of Wimbledon.
Right, I don't know if that match is concluded or it's concluding today, but I was watching the match with Andy Murray and Tsitsipas. Because I like tennis. I used to watch Bjorn Borg, John McEnroe, and Virginia Wade, and years ago in the 80s I used to rush home to watch tennis from school. I used to love tennis. I played tennis at school. I still love tennis to this day, but I don't play it now. But I used to play it at school with my old granddad's tennis racket, because my parents couldn't afford to buy me a tennis racket, so I was playing tennis with an old taped tennis racket. Those were the days. Right, yeah, so I've got memories. I've got things that I've enjoyed. I used to play tennis when I was younger. I used to go swimming in London. I used to go swimming with my friend. We had in Sydenham there was an athletics ground. There was also a racing track as well for a car race. It was Crystal Palace. So yeah, I used to live in Sydenham, and I used to go to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace Gardens with the dinosaurs. My dad moved from Sydenham, and I moved away from all my friends and the people I knew in London and came down to Chatham, and that's where everything went decidedly wrong in my life. That's where it went wrong. My sister actually went to school in Chatham. She went to All Saints School in Luton area of Chatham. I didn't go to school down here. I finished my schooling in London, and then I found my first job down in Chatham at Airport Works Rochester, where I was working as a library assistant and for the draftsman. So I've had jobs, I've got memories, I've had friends. Something went wrong in 2008, decidedly wrong, and it fucked up my life completely, and I'm sat here day after day by myself with stupid unknown men texting me, and I put a stop to that in 2006 when I dumped my ex-partner, who was a drunk and a drug addict, and I've been on my own ever since, and I should be getting on with my life and going out and enjoying life by myself, but I find myself trapped indoors day after day because I feel that I'm being harassed, stalked and hounded by an unknown person or persons. Also, I feel like I'm being made a fool out of. I'm not an angry person. I lost my father Derek in 2021. He had a heart attack, and some people seem to think that my dad is still alive, and he's been dead since 2021. I'm all for keeping people's memories alive, but not he's dead. Just get over it, he's dead. I'm Derek's daughter, and my mum's living without her husband, and basically whenever I see something that reminds me of my father, it upsets me for two reasons. It reminds me of seeing him in the Co-op funeral office in the coffin, and it also reminds me of what he did to me. I don't want to be reminded of my father, thank you very much. Some would say that he got what he deserved in the end because of what he did to my mother for 54 years, and what he did to me, what he did to my sister, and what he did to my brother. Why would you want to remember someone like that? Why would you want to make out that someone's Derek, who used to go around violently hitting people and groping women? Why would you want to remember someone like that in the first place? Derek was a womanizer, apparently. But why would you want to go out with a man that hit somebody and walloped them? And was a general nasty person. And over the years, my father had a number of cars. He had a number of cars. I remember Derek taking me, his daughter, to Dover to meet Paul and pick up a Land Rover that had broken wing mirrors. Don't you think that if I could drive a car, I'd bloody drive a car and not take a taxi? Who are these people that are making out I'm a violent person when I've been through Derek's beatings myself and his sexual philanderings? Yeah, he had Land Rovers, he had Ford Escorts, he had a great big Mercedes at one point, a massive big Mercedes, like that chap upstairs that's got a navy blue Mercedes. Derek used to drive a silver one until he sold it to my son for £50 because it was too big, he couldn't drive it, and he got rid of it. So yeah, this relates to Derek, all these fancy cars. Derek had a Land Rover, he had a silver Mercedes, Ford Escorts, he even had an electric Alfa Romeo. I can't drive. Why would I take the train, the bus and the taxi service if I could drive? It doesn't make sense. So had my dad lived here, he would have loved it. All the cars, you know, there was Bentleys at All Hallows Caravan Park, Bentleys. My dad could drive, he changed his cars every couple of months. Before he died, he bought a red Toyota Starlet, second hand from eBay, off a guy off eBay, and a small black car that he got rid of and kept the Starlet. The red Toyota Starlet, he kept it. And then my mum had to sell it for scrap after he passed away, for 20 quid. They weren't massively expensive cars, they were second-hand ones, and some of them were absolutely dangerous. And remember that my dad got a speeding ticket on that red Toyota Starlet. It was that car was registered in a woman's name before he died. He hadn't even changed the car over to his name. Derek was dodgy. Dodgy! Yeah, so my dad hadn't registered the car in his name. That red Toyota Starlet, and my mum had trouble getting rid of that car. He was dodgy. He was a criminal. He was dodgy. He was a nasty, all-round nasty piece of work, and he was allowed to get away with a load of things, right? And my mum has had to pick up the pieces after my father died because he left her in a mess. He didn't even put my mother's name on the tenancy agreement, so for about nearly a year my mum thought she was going to get evicted from her flat because he didn't even acknowledge his wife as a tenant with him. He used to kick my mother, he used to treat her like dog shit and a slave. And I'd seen the police come out, I'd seen helpers come out, they didn't do anything to help my mother, they sided with my dad. And why the fuck would I want to be like my father? Why would I want to be like that? And why would anyone want to encourage that disgusting behaviour? I'm an adult now and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I don't listen to other people. Other people can lure you to drink, drugs and to your death. And I'm sensible. And maybe I'm boring, maybe I'm sensible, but I walk this earth with, I don't have a guilty conscience. I don't. And those that have done things to me should have a guilty conscience. If you do a crime, you do the time. You don't blame someone else for it. See you later.